Hi, I'm going to take a look at the cryptocurrency Tron, ticker symbol TRX. I'm going to begin by looking at the weekly chart to point out some very important things with Tron that I think a lot of people don't realize because they don't look at the longer term charts, but it kind of puts everything into perspective and it explains why prices have been acting the way they have really in 2021. Number one, you'll see here that this long base, a long correction, actually formed what I call a cup completion cheat pattern, where you have the downtrend broken, a quick move, and then a consolidation below in the lower half of this particular base. You'll see we had a breakout, a pullback, and then finally had a breakout. I think it was about a 250% move finally after that breakout. So you had a big cup base with the completion cheat area, and then you buy and trigger. You'll notice then that the advance couldn't get past the 38.2% retracement of this entire base from the 2018 high. We did get a couple of weeks where Tron did close above the 38.2% retracement, but it was short-lived, and then we soon had the collapse in May, including the week where we fell 47%. Moving to the daily chart, you can see that after the May collapse, Tron shifted into a descending parallel channel, which contained price action until just recently, towards the end of July, where we had a feeble breakout, to say the least. Obviously, the 50-day declining 50-day simple moving average was providing some pressure on price, but nevertheless, it was a very weak breakout. Almost looks corrective. You'll see today that we did test a 200-day simple moving average before being rejected, at least on an intraday basis. The descending parallel channel measured move comes in at about 54%, which would take us to a price target of about spot 0.93, which is up near this low here and also this low here, which is an obvious point where we could see some resistance moving forward. Otherwise, you can see the roll here. We have a lot of support. One of the things that, even though this doesn't look like anything more than a corrective breakout from the descending parallel channel, some of the things that do support it probably being a major low back in June, and certainly the low in July, is the fact that we have the 2020 high, which correlates with the 2020 ascending trend line. It also correlates with the 50-week simple moving average. So you have a trifecta of support here for Tron moving forward that should keep the downside limited to some extent and ensure that these lows, whether it's July or June, are not tested moving forward. So overall, I wouldn't be a buyer of Tron here. I think the potential to reach the measured move target is limited at this point. I don't like the way it's broken out. You want to see impulsive price action, big up days on big volume, and we're just not getting that right now in Tron. On the downside, you get it closed below the 2020 high and the 2020 ascending trend line. You don't want to touch it, or you want to close your position if you are long, and then let it run to the downside down into the midline of this descending parallel channel, which is about spot 4042, and perhaps even lower after that. But like I said, I think there's this too much support in here when you also include the 50-week simple moving average. So the downside is going to be rather limited moving forward for Tron, but I think the upside also is going to be very limited.